Yashodhanandana Jaya Brajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Girdhari Bhagwan ki Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai Shri Shri Giri Govardhan ki Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaurchandra Bhagwan ki Jai Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai Nitai Gaurchandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prasarine Nirvishesh Sundavadi Prasarine Starine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna. So how's everybody doing? All are doing well? Yes? You're doing well? Very good. Mukunda is doing well? Mayuresh, are you doing well?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, good to hear. Soumya, you see you joining as well. How are you doing? You're doing all right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Nice. Good to hear all of you are doing well. Very nice. Chant and be happy. All right. Now, do we know where we finished last time? Anyone remember where we finished last time? No, don't run away. Stay there. Well, last time we finished the discussion there. So there's nothing to remember. It's a new topic.
Prabhuji, we finished that soul research where
Yes,
Prabhupada wrote the letter to researchers in Canada.
yes,
Yep.
that's right. Prabhupada. Yes, that's right. Absolutely correct. So today, let us discuss about super consciousness. Yes, good idea. I think it's a good idea. Hold on. Okay. So what do you understand by the word super consciousness, please? Anybody can know? Tell me. What is consciousness? What is super consciousness? What is consciousness? Anybody, please? Even from our YouTube, you can write in the comment section and I can read it. But write in the comment section, please. What is consciousness? Anybody, please? What is consciousness? Suddenly you're going to become a doctor soon. What do you understand by consciousness? Or your colleagues in your teaching?
Prabhuji, I think consciousness, it means being aware of our external surroundings and our internal surroundings and everything. That is, I think, the scientific way of saying it. There is self-consciousness, being aware of ourself, and then the external consciousness, being aware of the external conditions and everything.
Okay, very good. Very good. So consciousness meaning being aware, being conscious, right? That's what it is, right? So what does super consciousness mean? What does super consciousness mean? Anyone, please? Super consciousness. No? No one from our intermediate intelligent people, devotees? Super consciousness. Consciousness, we understood correct. Super consciousness means what? Once you understand super consciousness, then you understand the whole consciousness of the world. People have tried to explain the super consciousness in very different ways. The modern naturologists and scientists, they say that we are all connected. So super consciousness means the world, the nature. They say nature is super consciousness. And they also show it in a movie too. The very famous movie Avatar spoke about in another planet. This woman says, this woman or she actress or whatever you call it, living being, said, "You people, why do you kill somebody for no reason?" And she goes and she prays or feels, You'd be interested to know that James Cameron, he follows the Vedic way of life. He said, "I can't produce Mahabharata, but I can guide somebody who's producing it. I don't want to produce, but if somebody's guiding, I can tell you." Yeah. So that's why he put the name Avatar and all that. It's very Asian Indian concepts with James Cameron. Right. Now, there is still, he made it in a way that was palatable to the whole world for making money. But if you remove the making money, then you may give more information about super consciousness. And that's what we're going to discuss now. So we're ready for that? Right. Who would volunteer reading, please?
I can read, Prabhu.
Want to read, Mayuresh? Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful.
Prabhu.
Okay, here we go. So we'll give you. You read now? So read the heading.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Practicing yoga in the modern age. Super consciousness. The goals of modern day Western yoga enthusiasts are dwarfed by the achievements of India's ancient yogis who, according to historical accounts, could become smaller than atoms and lighter than air, and who could travel unaided anywhere in the universe.
Hmm.
Yet, even these super achievements, says Srila Prabhupada, are only a step forward. How the true pinnacle of human consciousness, super consciousness, is obtainable here and now is disclosed by Srila Prabhupada in the following talk given in 1967. Krishna consciousness, the
Okay.
highest yoga
One second.
performance.
One second. Yeah. So, all right. So, yet even these super achievements, Srila Prabhupada is only a step forward. So, what are the super achievements? Like becoming smaller than atoms. You know, atom is the smallest particle in the universe.
Items.
So, there are yogis who can become smaller than atoms. They can become lighter than the air, and who could travel unaided anywhere in the universe. You see, in the Kumbh Mela, where it happens, Prabhupada would say that there are many of these yogis, they travel and they come in Kumbh Mela. So he said to his disciples, Prabhupada said that you be very careful when you're going to Kumbh Mela and all that. You never know who's standing in front of you. Yeah, it's very important. All right, so let's study now. What is super consciousness? Yes, please.
Krishna consciousness is the highest yoga performance by trained devotional yogis. The yoga system, as is stated in the standard yoga practice, formula given by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and as recommended in the Patanjali yoga discipline. It's different from the nowadays practiced Hatha yoga as is generally understood in the Western countries. Real yoga practice means to control the senses, and after such a control is established, to concentrate the mind on the Narayana, form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Narayana, not Narayana, Narayan.
Narayan, to concentrate the mind on the Narayan, form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is the original absolute personality, the Godhead, and all other Vishnu forms with 4 hands decorated with conch, lotus, club, and wheel are plenary expansions of Krishna.
So, what do you understand by this?
So, Lord Krishna, with a flute standing in Vrindavan, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The 4-handed form were carrying those chakras and conch shells. Those are expansion of Krishna's energies. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Is,
good
is
try.
that correct?
Good try. Not expansion of Krishna's energies. They are plenary portions. That means what? They are not fully Krishna, but potency of Krishna is there. Vishnu Tattva are complete. So if Krishna is this, supposing, okay, if they are this, but they are full, complete in that, the capacity. That's called plenary. Yeah. So technically speaking, in the Srimad Bhāgavatam, it is mentioned also that there is Krishna, then there is first immediate form. Okay, immediate expansion of Krishna is Balaram. Okay. After that, there are Chaturvyu expansions of Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. From Sankarshan, there is expansion of Narayan, whom we call Narayan. From Narayan, there's another Chaturvyu expansions. Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudev. Then from that Sankarshan, expansion of Mahavishnu takes place, or Karanadaksaya Vishnu. This Karanadaksaya Vishnu, he is out of the spiritual world, is resting in the spiritual world, on the eternal sky, and he rests. That's the one who rests first on the Sheshnag, on the causal ocean, and he's in the Yoga Nidra. So when he exhales, means what? Breathing out. At that time, from his body pores, innumerable, countless universes come. Okay? And this is where the material sky develops. From the whole spiritual sky, a small cloud develops a material sky. Very small, limited portion. Now, it is undivided. It rests as it is. It's called Mahat Tattva. Technical term is called Mahat Tattva. It's a combination of all material elements. Everything metaphysical is there in this world, in this so-called cloud. Now, at that point in time, this Mahavishnu or Karanadaksaya Vishnu, he expands further as Garbhodaksaya Vishnu. And this Garbhodaksaya Vishnu enters into this material universe, material, full creation there, Mahatattva, and he creates disparities, blueprint of creation. There has to be so many universes, big and small, all those things, all back-end software is given, technology is given by him. Okay? And this Garbhodaksaya Vishnu enters into each of these planets, universes. Okay? Universes, it goes into it. And from his navel stems a lotus flower. And this lotus flower, Lord Brahma is born. So Brahma is the son of Garbhodaksaya Vishnu. And from Garbhodaksaya Vishnu, he enters into, as I said, into each particles of the material creation as the third and the final form, which is called Kshirodaksaya Vishnu. It is this Kshirodaksaya Vishnu whom we accept ordinarily as Vishnu. He also sleeps in the causal ocean. He sleeps, but he is sleeping on the Kshira ocean, ocean of milk. The Garbhodakshaya Vishnu also rests like this. We rest in the Garbhodak ocean. Mahavishnu rests on Karanadak ocean, Garbhodak ocean, and Kshirodak ocean. The mother Ganga, it comes from the Karanadak ocean. That's why she is pure. She is celestial. From the spiritual world she enters and comes in. Okay? And all the incarnations that takes place, Vishnu incarnations, Lord, there's Varahadev, Narsimha, Vamandev, they are all from the expansion, from Kshirodaksaya Vishnu. You will know this more as it clears. First time it is all very complicated. So what's all this? Who is this? Why is it done? What is the reason for it? You don't understand. Because our understanding is that, here is God, here's the creation, here I am. We forget that the creation is huge. Even this one universe that we're living in, which has got millions and billions of stars and planets, whom we cannot even fathom. This universe is only one universe, and it is the smallest universe according to Vedas, and even Srimad Bhāgavatam also. It's the smallest universe. Okay, that's why our Brahma has only 4 heads. There are other universes which are bigger, So Brahma has more heads to think. He has to think, no? He's a material creator. He plans. He organizes things. He's the one who creates. Paramatma, he says, he also born in Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel from each universe. Parallelly. So if the universe is bigger, so 10 heads. He's got then 100 heads. Some universe has 100 heads. He has also got 10 million heads. Brahma, very unfathomable. You say, what is this? What am I listening to? How can one person have 10 million heads? Well, because you have got only one head. So you can't understand it, right? This is why there's something called Kupa Mundak. We are all Kupa Mundak. That means we are all doctors. Soumya is not the only one who become doctor. We are already doctors. We are all doctors. Because we have our own opinions. We have all doctored opinions. With our own sense perception, we see the world according to what we want to see. What experience we have got. That is called Kupamundak. The story goes like this. It's Dr. Frog. So once our Dr. Frog is living in a well. Nice well. Okay. A 4 by 4 feet well. Deep. He's living nicely, peacefully. He's eating all these germs and all that comes, flies and all that, saving himself from people taking their water away from pots and all that. And he's living nicely. One day, to his astonishment, he saw another frog jumping from outside and coming inside. So this frog says, hey, you look like me. So yeah, I look like you. He said, great. What are you? He said, my name is Frog. Okay, good to meet you. I'm also Dr. Frog. Good to meet you. So yes. So where have you come from? So Dr. Frog asked the other frog, the visitor frog, where have you come from? He said, I've come from another place, which is a big ocean. It is called Pacific Ocean. I live there. He said, is it? Pacific Ocean? There's another life there also? There is a water body there also? This is not the only water? So no. Outside this, there is so many wells are there. Say, yeah, you're talking nonsense. He said, no, I'm telling you. Out of this well, you go to other wells. There are so many wells in the world. And there's a big well, which is called Pacific Ocean. I live there. So Dr. Frog says, he thinks like this for a long time. This guy what is he talking about? How can there be more wells? This is the only well I'm living in. This is the world. That nonsense he's talking about, So he's saying, okay, whatever. How big is your Pacific Ocean? He said, very big Pacific Ocean. He said, what do you mean very big? He said, very big ocean. So explain to me how big. He says, very big, man. He says, okay, so this well is this much 4 by 4. So Pacific Ocean is 4 by 4? He said, no, there's nothing bigger than this. Bigger than this? Oh, so that means it is double the size of 4 by 4? So 4 by 8 or something, 8 by 4, something like this? He said, no, more. So times 4, 12? So no. Okay, 16? No. See, so this is how Dr. Frog, who all this while thought he is a master of the universe, he suddenly shattered. He thinks Pacific Ocean, he cannot even fathom Pacific Ocean because he's not been there. The other frog has been there. So he's saying, what are you guys? You're nut. You're crazy, man. Living in one well, thinking this well is the whole world. This is Dr. Frog. And we all are Dr. Frogs. So clap your hands. And pat your back. We are born doctors with our own perceptions, with our own thinking, and we say we know everything. And we say there cannot be any life except on earth. It's only primitive life. And we say this universe is universe, then how can there be other universes? But I tell you, the Vedas talk about this one universe which is so big is the smallest. And again, if you zoom out, then as you see, when there's a ray of sunlight coming from the window, and you see the dust particles floating in the sky, in this ether, that dust particle is like one universe, that big in the ethereal sky. Congratulations. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, this dust particles in this ethereal sky, which you see millions of universes, is only 25% of the creation. 75% of the creation doesn't belong to material world, it belongs to spiritual world. And I, Ambarisa, living in New Zealand, sitting in his chair in his house, is very proud of himself. Clap your hands. All of us are very proud of our ourselves, A fool's number one. We are Dr. Frogs. You must carry, I'm Dr. Frog. I'm a doctor. Who gave you the designation of doctor? I gave myself designation of doctor. That's why we say, I don't believe it. So, of course, you will not believe this. Who's asking you to believe? That's why we say, don't believe. There's no point. How much will this other frog explain this Dr. Frog? How big is Pacific Ocean? You tell me. Is it possible? Tell me. Krishna, is it possible to explain this to that frog? How big is Pacific Ocean? Because this guy is thinking from his 4x4. Double of this? No. Triple of this? No. 4 times 4. 10 times no. 5 times no. 10 times more. At the most he'll say, no, you're bogus. You're out of the mind. You're lunatic. You lost your marbles. Forget about him. I'm happy picking my gems in this Pacific, in this well and Pacific Ocean. I'll call. He said, what do you mean? I will call my well Pacific Ocean. Go to hell. This is my Pacific Ocean, and I'm eating nicely, living very peacefully. And one day, the villagers will come. They take their money, the pot for water, and this frog, Dr. Frog, will go in the pot and die. When he goes out, he will have heart attack when he sees the outside world, He says, that's right, there's another well there. There's another well there also. And there's Pacific Ocean. Oh my God. Hare Krishna. This is called theory of Dr. Frog. Sanskrit it is called Kupa Mundak. Mundak meaning frog. Kupa meaning well. So we all live in our own well, secluded nicely and sleeping peacefully. We don't want to be woken up. Hey, wake up, another Pacific Ocean. We don't want to do that. We are very happy in our bed, sleeping nicely, with our problems, with our sorrows, with our happiness, with our morning tea, with our toast in the morning tea, with what I like, what I hate, with our boyfriend, with our girlfriend, with our children, with our enemies. We're very happy. Peacefully we die. Suffering. And again born. Again suffering. Again this. And again that. You see? Now you understand that a Brahma can be 10 million heads. There's a possibility. Right. 100 million heads. It is mentioned there. I'm not saying it. Bhāgavatam talks about this. Prabhupada says this. It is mentioned in the Vedas, man. And Brahma also dies. He also dies. And when he dies, all Brahmas die. And when does he die? When the first Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu, when Mahavishnu breathes in, everything comes back inside. Nothing remains there. No material world. He is resting in his body. So right now, all this game is going on in his exhaling process. Simple. Just like when we breathe in, we take so many germs inside, right? Simple. Lord Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu does the same thing. No problem. What's the difficulty? Okay, should we go ahead? Any questions? Any debates? Let's see if somebody has written anything in the comments of YouTube. I'll just check in a second. We'll just refresh this. Otherwise, we'll go ahead. Because it's a very interesting concept. To understand super consciousness is not easy. It's very hard to understand super consciousness because it's very easy. And we complicate ourselves. That is the problem. Right. So, okay, we start now. Prabhuji. Any questions anyone has got? Okay. All right. Please study. Please continue. Read this again, please. Again, this much.
Lord Krishna is the original absolute personality, the Godhead, and all other Vishnu forms with four hands decorated with conch, lotus, club, and wheel are plenary expansions of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it is recommended that we should meditate upon the form of the Lord. For, for practicing concentration of the mind, one has to sit down in a secluded place, sanctified by a sacred atmosphere, and the yogi should observe the rules and regulations of brahmacharya to live a life of a strict self-restraint and celibacy. No one can practice yoga in congested city living a life of extravagance, including unrestricted sex indulgence and adultery of the tongue. We have already stated that yoga practice means controlling the senses, and the beginning of controlling the senses is to control the tongue. You, you cannot allow the tongue to take all kinds of forbidden food and drink, and at the same time improve in the practice of yoga. It is a very regrettable fact that many stray, unauthorized so-called yogis now come to the West and exploit the leaning of the people toward yoga. Such unauthorized yogis even dare to say publicly that one can indulge in drinking and at the same time practice meditation.
Okay, just 1 second. So understand one thing. That means what? That to practice, to gain this knowledge, yeah, one has to understand. So to understand super consciousness, one has to understand one's consciousness and every other consciousness. So just like we discussed, we started our discussion by saying that we are all connected. Yeah. So that means if you want to understand the creator of everything, then we have to respect all the created beings. Yeah, is created all created beings, and he can accept and will appreciate only those who are appreciating and respecting all other living beings. You see, so that's why the control of the tongue is very important. If slaughterhouses is what our tongue is, eating anything and everything, forbidden food, all food is good food, all drinking is good drinking, then no problem. You can be like this, Kupa Mundak. But if you don't want to be Kupa Mundak, if you want to be really clever, then you have to really focus upon what you can eat, what you can't eat, what association you must have, what association you must not have. So we are living in a very precarious situation all the time in this material world. And we have to be very carefully navigating ourselves, navigating ourselves in understanding our position and the position of Krishna. Okay, so let's continue further. Any questions so far? Any challenges? No? Well, either you guys are very clever, or I'm very dumb, or you guys are boring. Srimad is a challenge, man. Right, start.
5,000 years ago, in Bhagavad Gita dialogue, Lord Krishna recommended the yoga practice to his disciple Arjuna. But Arjuna flatly expressed his inability to follow the stringent rules and regulations of yoga. One should be practical in every field of activity. One should not waste his valuable time simply in practicing some gymnastic feats in the name of yoga. Real yoga is to search out the four-handed super soul within one's heart and to see him perpetually in meditation. Such a continued meditation is called samadhi.
Okay, repeat again, please.
Real yoga is to search out the four-handed super soul within one's heart and to see him perpetually in meditation. Such a continued meditation is called samadhi.
Yes, please continue.
If, however, one wants to meditate upon something void or impersonal, it will require a very long time to achieve anything by yoga practice. We cannot concentrate our mind on something void or impersonal. Real yoga practice is to fix the mind on the person of the four-handed Narayan, who dwells in everyone's heart. Sometimes it is said that by meditation one will understand that God is seated within one's heart always, even when one does not know it. God is seated within the heart of everyone. Not only is He seated in the heart of human being, but He is also within the hearts of the cats and dogs. The Bhagavad Gita certifies this with the declaration that Ishvara, the supreme controller of the world, is seated in the heart of everyone. He is present not only in everyone's heart, but also within the atoms. No place is vacant. No place is without the presence of the Lord.
Again, from here.
The Bhagavad Gita certifies this with the declaration that Ishvara, the supreme controller of the world, is seated in the heart of everyone. He is the He is present not only in everyone's heart but also within the atoms. No place is vacant. No place is without the presence of the Lord.
So you understand the Kshirodakshay Vishnu form or Paramatma form or Super Soul form is seated in all living beings' heart and non-living beings' hearts, non-living beings also. They say no. In Ram, Karn Karn mein base hai Ram. They say no. So this is what is the meaning. In every atom is Ram or Vishnu. Kshirodakshay Vishnu is residing. This is the point to understand. Okay? Anyone has any questions, please? Was it clear? Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's continue.
In this connection, the example of
The feature of the Lord.
The feature of the Lord by which He is present everywhere is called Paramatma. Atma means the individual soul, and the Paramatma means the individual super soul.
Yes. So soul is consciousness derives from the soul. Because of the soul, the body is conscious. And Paramatma is super soul. He's also in the body, in everyone's body, he's there. That's why it's called super consciousness. So we are interested in the study of super consciousness. This is the point. You got Soumya, got this point?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great stuff. Let's continue, please.
Both Atma and Paramatma are individual persons. The difference between them, however, is that Atma or soul is present only in one particular place, whereas Paramatma is present everywhere.
Yes, so now they both, Atma and Paramatma, the soul and the super soul, are individual persons. Remember to underline this point. They are individual persons. They don't become one. They remain individual. They were individual in the past, they're individual in the present, and they'll be individual in the future also. Okay? Right. Okay.
In this connection, the example of the sun is very nice. An individual person may be situated in one place, but the sun, even though a specific individual entity, is present over the head of every individual person. In the Bhagavad Gita, this is very nicely explained. Therefore, even though the qualities of all entities, including the Lord, are equal, the super soul is different from the individual soul by quantity of expansion. The Lord or super soul can expand himself into millions of different forms, while an individual soul cannot do so.
You understand this? So super soul can be present everywhere. You see? The super soul of Paramatma is everywhere. But the soul is limited, individual. We are all souls, and Krishna is super soul in his avatar, his third Purusha incarnation. So further up from what he was, what he is, rather. But still, if Krishna has expanded into so many things, so many incarnations, still he remains full Krishna. From him only all material and spiritual world has come, but still he remains a complete balance. This is very hard. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamiva Avashishyate. Sri Shopnishad, you will learn this verse. The invocation verse, you will learn this verse from the next session up onwards. Okay, that's why Paramatma is that particular personality who's super conscious. So happiness we experience as individual, he experiences for all of us. So what is the capacity of him to be happy? All right, let's go. Yes, tell me. You'll say something?
Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, so the souls are also created by Vishnu or the original personality of God, Krishna?
Krishna. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So they all living beings are my fragmental part and parcel. And he says further that Bhumera Pavana Lovayahu Khammano Buddhi Revacha Ahankariti Yamme Bhinna Prakartir Ashtada. So he's saying that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, they are all my separated energies created by me. And then he says, Mamai Vamsha. Mama means for me, Amsha, part and parcel. Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All living beings are created by me. You get the point?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Any other questions anyone has got? No? Okay. Let's go. Yes, please.
In this connection, the example of the sun,
Yeah, doesn't matter.
The super soul, being seated in everyone's heart, can witness everyone's activities, past, present, and future. In Upanishads, the super soul is said to be sitting with the individual soul as a friend and a witness. As a friend, he is always anxious.
You should understand one thing here. This particular point should be understood. The Lord or the super soul can expand himself into millions of different forms. Yeah, while individual soul cannot do so. Okay. So that means here that in the super soul is present in every living beings, but the individual soul is present in only one being, his own body, right? Okay. Now, what does it mean? That means that the super soul being seated in everyone's heart can witness everyone's activities. Because he doesn't die, you see. He is a witness. So he is that when I did not know about Krishna consciousness, okay, I had no idea about Krishna consciousness. So I used to think and speculate that, okay, so how somebody has to be defining, to understand karma, somebody has to be making a note of things, no? How do you know karma? Karma. If God is defining karma, then he has to witness certain things. So I thought, what is a hard disk? I couldn't understand a hard disk. I used to ask this question to people, and somebody says the soul is here, Lord Shiva, and all these things was there. So I have to think about that and all that, Till the time I came in touch with Prabhupada, this Bhagavad Gita is given very clearly, but nobody reads Bhagavad Gita to give an answer. So it is this super soul who is a witness. So from him, he is the one you cannot hide from anyone. So you may commit an offense and you may be safe from all the material, court and all that. But the super soul is in the heart, he knows you. So whenever devotees fight and speak lies, when they say that, I said, come on, man. Devotees should not do this. We know that Krishna is everywhere. How can you say that we have not spoken this subject matter? We have spoken the subject matter. We think Krishna is only in the temple. This is our faithlessness and nothing else. So devotees should not speak lies as much as possible. You see, so once you understand the Krishna consciousness, you cannot be hypocritic of anything. No hypocrisy. You see, this is the thing to be understood. That hypocrisy, we want others not to be hypocritic, then we should not be hypocritic. Simple as that. The buck stops and starts with us, not other people. Whereas we want to judge other people, we don't want to judge us. See? People come and listen to a lecture and say how good it is. I don't understand what they're talking. It's very bad. But they don't understand. It's their problem or our problem. Then we have to then they have to take efforts to understand. You see? That's right. That's how it is. Otherwise, don't. The path to Krishna goes from Bhagavad Gita. So you can study from anywhere if you want to, no problem. So that's how it is. Buck stops with us, not with other people. Okay, should we continue? Let's start.
The super soul, being seated in everyone's heart, can witness everyone's activities, past, present, and future. In Upanishads, the super soul is said to be sitting with the individual soul as a friend and a witness. As a friend, he is always anxious to get the individual soul back home, back to Godhead. As a witness, he is the endower of all benedictions that result from individuals' actions.
That is karma, good action, good reaction, bad action, bad reaction. He endowed this, gives them. Yes.
The super soul gives the individual soul all facility for achieving whatever he may desire. But he instructs his friend so that he may ultimately give up all other engagements and simply surrender unto God for perpetual bliss and eternal life, full of knowledge. This is the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita, the most authorized and widely read book on all forms of yoga. The last word of Bhagavad Gita, as stated above, is the last word in the matter of perfecting the yoga system. It is further stated in Bhagavad Gita that a person who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness is the topmost yogi. What is this Krishna consciousness?
Just 1 second. Yeah, hold on. Just 1 second. 1 second. So I think let us stop here now. The last word of Bhagavad Gita I stated above, we'll just stop at this point. Yeah? Okay. Now, anyone has any questions, please, on what we discussed so far, or like to share something? We have noticed that if you sell for new people, if you tell them that super consciousness, they're very happy. But if you say super consciousness is a person, they're not happy. They can't understand it. It blows their mind away. Short circuit, it will happen. I can't believe it. We had people say Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. He said, I can't deal with it. Well, this is what one person said to me. He said, come to my program. He said, sorry, Mike, I can't handle this anymore. He left after this. That's it for me. That's it for me. Yeah. But devotees who follow it, they look different. They remain young. Those are not, unfortunately, situation. Yeah, okay, all right. So we wait for 5 more seconds, 10 more seconds. Any questions or anything to share by the beginners program? You can speak now. Okay. So anyone else from our senior class would like to say something, please feel free.
Prabhuji, there is a question
There's a question. Where's the question?
in the chat.
On the chat.
Divanshi.
Okay, Divyansh, yes, she can. Yes, she told me she cannot. Okay, how does the super soul exhibit the anxiety to bring us back to Godhead to those who are not devotees? Very good question. So basically, you are saying that how does the super soul shows his willingness or anxiety to bring everyone back to Godhead? That's a basic question, right? Yes. Yes, thank you. That is experienced by every person who may have little faith. They say, I can feel that there is some superpower there, who controls everything. You heard this saying for people? That we have heard something, but they can't fit where it is, how it is, What is the reason? So this is a proof that Super Soul is constantly thinking about bringing us back. And he has put things in place around us to take us back. Now I'll tell you something which is mind-boggling, okay? He has created a full system and infrastructure in the material world to bring us back to Godhead. Every living being. So, first of all, he himself is a super soul, or Paramatma is in the heart of all living beings. Even when we take the body of a worm in a stool, he is still with us as super soul in that body, as a witness. Anumanta, means giving in, okay, do it. Anumati, giving, okay, allowing it. An adhyaksha, maya dakshina prakriti, he suyati sacharacharam. From me, he says, I'm the superintendent for all the material world. Now, on all creation, all happening around. Other thing is this, that in this each universe, with each of the manus, there are different manus. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 manus. And with each of the manu, there are saptarishis. So if you see astrological, if you see astronomy, the stars, on the sky, so there is 7 planets together. They're called saptarishis. So they are the planets which have been inhabited by 7 rishis. So these are important personalities who constantly think and meditate upon how the living beings of every planets should develop into Krishna consciousness. But they follow the rules set up by Krishna. Where Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 that those who are not inclined to me so much, don't force them to change immediately. They will not change immediately. Gradually they can improve. That's why, although people who are new to Krishna consciousness want to get all information at once, but just like as we tell people that you cannot get medicine all at once, you have to take in right doses. So this is how every living being is gradually developing, and there are so many living beings, higher beings, who are working for our development, which we are not even aware about. Like we didn't know about Saptarishis, now you know. And even the Saptarishis change. You see, they change of what they were before, because each of the Manu has their own Saptarishis. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm just trying to see something. Okay, 1 minute, please. Just 1 second, please. No, it's not here. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. So we can even know from each of the Manu who are the Saptarishis. These are given in the Srimad Bhāgavatam. Because each Manu will have a separate Indra as well. So Indra doesn't remain the same. There are 14 Indras. Each Indra die. And there are descriptions given of each of the Manus. Till now, we are in the 7th Manu, the information of 8th, 9th Manu is also given, which are going to come. Alright. So it's very mind-boggling. And so we have to see how individually people are working for our benefit, and that is their extreme cause mercy, because they're doing it on behalf of Krishna. That's why they are called Siddhas. That's why they are called pure devotees or pure bhakti yogis. And they are actually the ones which are selfless. This is called selfless service on behalf of God, on behalf of Krishna. Yeah? Is this okay, Divyanshi? So there's always steps towards it. Thank you. Taken. Anyone else has to say anything? Yes, Hare Krishna. Anyone else want to say something? Okay. From the serious class, please. Serious class. Want to share something? Say something? Realizations? All right then. So we'll stop today's. We'll conclude today's discussions, both the classes, the senior program and beginners program. And yes. So who's going to sing today? Whose turn is it today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think it's Navina's turn, but she's sleeping, Prabhuji.
No problem. Krishnadas will sing. Krishnadas? Oh, you want to sing? She wants to sing? Shubhada wants to sing?
Hare Krishna Babuji. Hold on, I'll call her.
Okay. If she's ready, otherwise don't.
Okay.
Wonderful. Krishna Subhadra.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Babuji.
Hare Krishna Subhadra. Very nice to see you. All the best. Chale. Let us start, huh? So nicely.
Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you, we will sing.
And today for you, we will sing.
If our room is clean,
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
we can do anything.
we can do anything.
If our room is dirty,
If our room is dirty,
then so are we.
then so are we.
But we are dirty.
If we are dirty,
We're not happy.
we're not happy.
Wasting time.
Wasting time
It's the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted time.
Because wasted time
means a wasted mind.
means a wasted mind. So best.
So best is your time.
So best use your time
When you're in your prime.
when you are in your prime.
And your whole life.
And your whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime. If your wealth,
If your wealth is gone,
if your wealth is
it's
gone,
there's nothing wrong.
then is nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone,
If your health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different
But
song.
if your character dies,
If your characters die,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior,
Only saintly behavior
that's humanity thrive.
lets humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We must always remember Krishna
We must always remember Krishna
and never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here's the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue. You must
learn to walk so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely.
So listen very closely
And make your thinking sharp.
and make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
If something due tomorrow,
If something's due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
Whatever's due today,
Whatever's due today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy,
Your friends might be lazy
or doing bad things,
or doing bad things,
but you think again,
but you think again. Don't follow,
don't follow them,
don't follow them,
don't follow them,
and you
you
will,
win the end.
and you will in the end.
Whatever we're given,
Whatever work we're given,
do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live what we need and Krishna the rest.
We only need it what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live, to work and to play. If you learn this way, you'll see Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, see Krishna every day.
When the time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with a heart full of love.
And when our time is up, please take us up above. We sing and dance with him with a heart full of love.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. He's the only in this world who can never be consumed.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. It's only with this world will ever become sane.
Now please
Ask this question.
greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question
And find this greatest clue.
and find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna.
You can only remember Krishna
Krishna remembers you.
if Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai. Chakra.
Jai. His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Chande Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachayane Nirvishesha Shuddhavadi Pashatari Sarini. Jai. So we'll see you next week, same place, same time. Till then, chant and be happy. So follow our Hare Krishna weekend program in devotees, senior devotees. We'll meet online on Skype now. Yeah, immediately. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.